Hi, my name's Georgina and I manage our postgraduate programmes at the Cancer Research UK Manchester Centre and the Manchester Cancer Research Centre. The Manchester Cancer Research Centre is a partnership founded by the University of Manchester, the Christie NHS Foundation Trust and Cancer Research UK in 2006, and we're directed by Professor Robert Bristow. The MCRC welcomes all cancer-related postgraduate trainees associated with these three partners into this cancer sciences training environment. The MCRC and Cancer Research UK Manchester Centre has a dedicated training office. We have an education and development lead, Rachel Chown, and our clinical and non-clinical education chairs as well. So within these partnerships, there are various aspects that will be applicable to those applying for PhDs with us in Manchester. So Cancer Research UK is one of the MCRC, the Manchester Cancer Research Centre's partners. And as you may be aware, CRUK is the world's leading independent cancer charity dedicated to saving lives through research, influence and information. Within this CRUK network in Manchester, we have various funding streams. So for example, we have RadNet radiation or radiotherapy related funding with non-clinical studentships and allied health professional research radiographer PhDs associated with it. We also have ACE PhDs, which are currently out to advert, and ACE being our International Alliance for Cancer Early Detection. There's also the Cancer Research UK Manchester Institute in Manchester, who have their own dedicated PhD training scheme. The Cancer Research UK Manchester Centre, as with the MCRC, is also directed by Professor Rob Bristow. We're part of a national network of centres funded by Cancer Research that have major centre status. CRUK award major centre status to locations performing the highest quality cancer research. And so not all centres will have this major centre status. So it's a really exciting place to be in Manchester, particularly since with Cancer Research UK, we've got over £200 million of infrastructure investment, funding for technical staff, equipment, training and running costs. One of the MCRC's partners is the Christie NHS Foundation Trust, and the Christie Hospital is the largest single-site cancer centre in Europe and the first UK centre to be accredited as a comprehensive cancer centre. And that includes funding for Christie International Fellows as well, who will be doing research projects. So if you're applying to a PhD in Manchester, you might be applying on the Cancer Research UK Manchester Centre PhD programme, which also includes an MB-PhD programme where medical school students can now intercalate onto a PhD as part of an integrated degree programme. However, as you'll see, the Cancer Research UK Manchester Centre feeding into the MCRC, we also offer other ad hoc PhD opportunities throughout the year that are cancer related. Greater Manchester has a unique devolved healthcare landscape since 2016. And what that means is that we have the freedom and flexibility to make spending decisions that benefit everyone in Greater Manchester. We have many researchers working on projects that tackle Manchester-related problems such as significant deprivation and significant comorbidities. The Greater Manchester Health and Social Care Partnership is in charge of the £6 billion spent on health and social care in our 10 boroughs. And you'll see from this image as well that research and innovation is specifically part of and a key strategic part of the Greater Manchester Combined Authority. This means when you're doing PhDs and research projects, that is a really exciting and innovative place to be, where your research can have a real impact on healthcare, particularly in relation to deprivation and comorbidities, but also through work beyond Manchester, so such as with international partners that I'll come on to on our next slides. The Manchester Graduates Scheme, so we have diverse talent and pairings within translational studies. So each PhD project would have at least one clinical and non-clinical supervisor. And we see our projects as being embodied by a team science approach. This means that kind of projects that you might study will also involve might involve multiple hospital staff, technical staff, laboratory staff as well. And we see team science as being an approach that involves kind of multiple partners and multiple people, and each project that you can study feeding into these as well. At any one time, we might have around 84 CRUK Manchester Centre PhD researchers on clinical, non-clinical and allied health professional projects. You'll see from these figures that we kind of regularly have multiple PhD students across the MCRC and CRUK Manchester Centre doing taught postgraduate degrees as well as PhDs. Within the bullet train shown here, we have schools, sixth forms and A-levels. And the reason that this is included is because outreach and widening participation is a huge part of the centre. Not only kind of within our PhD training programmes do we think about working backwards and working with people at schools who might be making decisions over GCSE subjects or A-levels, and who might be thinking about a cancer sciences or even just a sciences career long term. But we also have PhD students who can apply to be widening participation fellows. And many of our PhD researchers will do this and will deliver workshops and lectures to local schools in person, often pre-COVID, but they've been doing this virtually as well recently. So within our undergraduate training options, we now offer a fully funded Cancer Research UK NB PhD programme in Manchester, where medical school students from Manchester and on the St Andrews Manchester pathway can apply to intercalate onto a PhD. And within these later stages of the train, it's not as though kind of you do a PhD at Manchester and then full contact ceases. We actually think about supporting and nurturing our trainees throughout their career as they go on to early career development schemes and as they then progress to careers in academic oncology. This includes work with multiple international partners, including the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre and MD Anderson Cancer Centre, amongst other partners that we work with throughout the PhD. So things like you might be conducting research abroad, and there might be opportunities for internships and placements or conferences abroad as well. Engagement opportunities in Manchester. So I'd really recommend that all applicants to our PhD programmes visit the Manchester Cancer Research website and have a look at our training and education newsletter. This is published twice a year and celebrates postgraduate and postdoctoral successes and achievements within kind of Manchester's cancer sciences training landscape. We also celebrate our alumni there, highlighting the careers that they've gone on to, their awards and publications. So as I said on the previous slide, this is part of our continual kind of mentoring and nurturing of trainees as they progress throughout their career. We also hold regular MCRC directors lectures with international speakers. And so these are held often in the Oglesby Cancer Research Building in Withington, opposite the Christie Hospital, where people are invited to attend the lectures in person with refreshments and chances for networking as well. Since COVID, those have moved onto kind of virtual lectures as well, but we also are now beginning to see kind of lectures frequently offered within a hybrid format as well, subject to any COVID requirements. So it's not a case of kind of that your PhD is kind of isolated. We see people being invited regularly to the MCRC, to our buildings across Manchester, the university campus. We have researchers based in the Cancer Research UK Manchester Institute in Alderley Park. They'll be moving from 2023 to our new Patterson building in parallel with the Christie Hospital. There's opportunities for Year 2 PhD students to speak as well as part of the Division of Cancer Sciences internal seminar series. The majority of our PhD students are placed within the Division of Cancer Sciences, but not all of them will be. And we have researchers working across Manchester University divisions as well, depending on the research projects that they're conducting. These talks provide a really great opportunity to get familiar with presenting your research, and to get feedback from colleagues at all levels as well. So if you're interested in finding out more about our PhDs, you can visit the Cancer Research UK Manchester Centre and look at research opportunities. And these will be for those specifically under the Cancer Research UK schemes. But as I said, we do also offer other PhDs often through the Manchester Cancer Research Centre and through other funding streams as well. So it's worth having a look at the range of websites that we have on offer. On the University of Manchester's Faculty of Biology, Medicine and Health page, you can find out more about applying for the PhD, and you can submit your online application there. What we're looking for in applicants. We don't expect applicants to meet necessarily all of these criteria in their supporting statements, but some of these aspects might also be demonstrated at interview if you were shortlisted to interview for a particular PhD project. So it may sound like a simple one, but we like candidates to meet the eligibility requirements for their chosen projects. And so this is really important, particularly things like making sure if you're applying for a clinical project that you have a clinical background and that you're undertaking a medical degree if you're applying for an MB PhD, or you're kind of at a later stage of your training if you're applying for a clinical research training fellowship. If you have any queries at all about eligibility requirements, you can either contact the University of Manchester's Doctoral Academy or just get in touch with me directly at mcrctraining@manchester.ac.uk, and that email address is on our last slide. We really look for person, project and place, particularly in the supporting statement that you'll submit. So why do you want to do this PhD programme, and what makes you the right person for this programme and project as well? Why this particular project? So why have you chosen this supervisor? Why have you chosen this particular kind of research topic that you'd be doing? And place as well. So we've covered in the previous slides a little kind of about Manchester and the training landscape here. But we're really looking for finding out more about you as a person, the project that you've chosen to apply for, and why this is particularly suited to yourself, and why you want to undertake research in Manchester, or to be based in Leeds if you're in applying for a Leeds Manchester Clinical Research Training Fellowship that has a University of Leeds supervisor. And all of these details about where a project might be based and the supervisors are on our websites on the previous page. So we look for knowledge of Manchester Cancer Sciences environment, the MCRC and the CRUK Manchester Centre. We look for evidence of your track record and future potential appropriate to your research experience and career stage. So that's kind of particularly important, I think, for our MB PhD applicants. So as an undergraduate student intercalating onto a medical degree, you may have no prior research experience, you could have obtained a degree before starting the medical degree, but that's not a requirement to apply onto the MB PhD programme. So instead, we look for things such as evidence of independence in your work, team skills as well, problem solving, anything that you think kind of is a transferable skill that you might have gained. It could be through kind of work with societies, etc. So thinking about actually kind of what makes you suitable to undertake research at your particular point of career. Obviously, if you're later stage of your career, you may have done posters, presentations, or even published articles or research as well. We particularly look for research knowledge, and so we expect candidates to have an understanding of the latest developments and publications and articles that are related to relevant and complementary fields and related to the particular projects that you're applying for. We look for applicable skills, so I've mentioned this slightly, things like general organisational skills, timekeeping, report writing, previous papers and presentations, and interpersonal skills as well. Lastly, we're really looking for long-term career trajectory and your research vision. So where do you want to be in 5 to 10 years' time, and how is your PhD going to help you to get there? And what are your career ambitions? What do you need to do kind of post-PhD to also get to where you want to be long-term in your career? And so that might be things such as thinking about where you might publish research, during or after your PhD, and how things like publications would support a long-term career in science. Equally, not necessarily all applicants will stay in kind of academia or stay as cancer scientists. We see people going into industry. And how this is relevant to your career track. So in terms of our researcher stories, on the MCRC website, you'll find lots of stories written, which are interviews with our PhD students about the particular projects that they're working on. And so, for example, we've got Emanuela Mitter, who is an ACE-funded PhD student, and we've got an interview with her there where you can read about, and it's these kind of things actually on these articles that have a real kind of flavour of the person, place and project. And there's multiple researcher stories that you can read. So thank you for listening to the presentation. I would just say, if you have any questions, queries, comments, if there's anything that you can help with, we can help with at all, please just get in touch with us at mcrctraining@manchester.ac.uk. Thank you.